Hello, this is the second in the series of videos of the tiny Techno Pseudo language, which is a command-based system for live minimal techno with a text interface. It's supposed to be very small, in fact tiny, and just do one thing well. I made a video before of the drum kit. If you haven't watched that, you might want to go back and do that first. I'll put the link in the description. And today we're going to look at the bass system. So we have a bass synthesis with three wave shapes and its own unique system for manipulation. So the first thing we can do is we'll start the metronome, and I can feed it a riff. The default riff is just a C minor scale. I'm going to go like this. You have 8 notes you can give it. And then you can use the mod, riff mod, command to say how many of those notes you want it to play. So it can just cycle through the first 5 like that. I'll go with the full 8. And even though I've got the volume up now, I can't hear it because this uses a gate pattern to let the sound through, and it defaults to zeros. It's similar to the hi-hat system. So if you remember, the hi-hat goes like this for triggers, an 8-bit binary system, and that will give us our off notes there, our off beats. The bass system has 16 steps in the gate pattern. So I could have gone like this when I was making it for off beats. But that's really clunky and long and hard to use in a live situation. So what I've done is made the system that uses decimal to binary conversion. So if I wanted all my notes to be filled, I would go like this as the first 8. And now I have my 16th notes. How this works, let's turn that off, is through a decimal to binary system. So when I give it the number, so this is an 8-bit register. I have these numbers up the top, and if I turn these on and off, it adds that number. So if I put in the number 1, this is the pattern it would give me. So it would give me the last step in 8 steps as on. If I put 9, it would look like that, because 8 plus 1 is 9. 11 would look like that. 15 would look like that, and so forth. So it doesn't necessarily mean the higher the number, the more steps you get, because 128 looks like that. 129 looks like that. If I add all these numbers together, I get 255. At the moment, I've got 0 in, which looks like that. So when I put in, for example, 34, let's do that. 34, so 2 lots of 34 for 16 steps, so there's 2 8-bit patterns. It's going to give me my off beats because it's going to give me 32 plus 2. Whoop. And they're my off beats. All right, and that might seem like somewhat of an obtuse system, but I found that it gives you a lot of room to play with. If you just want to play around with decimal numbers and see what sounds good, it's fun for that. It's good for some happy accidents if you just are typing in random numbers to see what it sounds like. But it also allows you to get down and understand the decimal to binary conversion and the patterns. And you might have ideas for patterns. Let's say I wanted 8th notes. I can use a decimal to binary converter, and I can go, I just want like 10 10 10 10, and just have 8 notes triggered, and that would be 170 in decimal. So let's see if that works. Remember, it's a 16-step pattern, so I need 2 lots of 8. I'm going to put the kick on so you can hear that. There's my 8th notes. I've got some patterns that I like to play with, that I've memorized. Sometimes I figure this out in my head, or I will just choose random ones to see what it sounds like. So that's the system of putting in a riff, saying how many notes of that you want it to play, and then using a gate to let those notes through. If we go to the GitHub, we can see all the controls we have. So we've covered riff, riff mod, and pattern. I can use a pattern mod as well. Let's say I wanted to have let's say I did like 37 to 55. But I only wanted to play the first 12 of them. I can say pattern mod 12. Whoops, bass pattern mod 12, sorry. And now it's just playing the first 12 of that 16-step pattern. Turn that off again while we talk. Awesome. So we have those controls. I can also change the spacing between going through those notes in the riff. So if I was to turn my pattern on to all ones, and I go bass space 3, it'll play each note 3 times. Or 2. You can get some cool patterns with that. So I could go like something like that to get this sort of like polymetric stuff going on. Awesome. Now I might want to change the envelope of the bass, so I can change the attack and decay time. Let's make that longer in the decay. And I also have the option to have like a logarithmic tail on the decay using the power function, the power. Let's say I go power 3. This means that let's turn the decay up to 1000. So the decay sort of lowers in a logarithmic pattern rather than a linear pattern, which is nice. It has a curve to it. All right, other functions that I have is the pitch. So it defaults to C as 0. So if I go 12, it'll take me up an octave. That was a bit much. Let's go 0, so bring it back to normal. Cool. I can also change the wave shape. So I go bass, wave, and at the moment I'm on square. I go to sine. In case you have trouble hearing that on your speakers, I'll turn it up an octave. There's a couple of sine waves together. The one I was on initially was SQR for square. And we also have a sawtooth, which is going to be really bright. So I've included a low pass filter as well. And that's a dual oscillator saw, so that you can have some interesting textures in the high frequencies. Cool. Those are all the commands for the bass. So I think there's a lot there that provides flexibility, and there's a lot you can play around with. to play with. I'm going to keep playing, but you know, we can do a lot of stuff with it. Yeah, I'm going to keep having play, but if you guys want to download it and see how you can use this system to make your own riffs, have fun, and I'll be back with another video for the synths next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.